Whatever. Welcome to the Punkio podcast, the show that brings you unsigned punk music, regular interviews, news, reviews, and more. Thanks for tuning in and subscribing. Let's jump straight in. Here's your host, Tim Marshall.
Hi all, welcome to the Punkio podcast, episode 8, I believe it is. So I've got a guy called Dustin with me today, who's also known as the name Two Eyes Open. So yes, here we go. How are you, pal? You alright?
I'm doing well. Thank you for repping me with the shirt today. I really appreciate that.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. So jumping straight in, how did you get into music in the first place, especially the punk genre, etc. then?
Yeah, so my dad was a big like hair metal fan, so I grew up with like Ozzy Osbourne and Motley Crue and stuff like that. And then I don't know, one day, American Idiot was kind of taking over the airwaves in 2004, and that was actually the first CD that I bought, and I was obsessed with it. And then shortly after that, I discovered Sum 41, and then it was all just like pop punk from there. Like I just never stopped. So American Idiot was like kind of like what got me into the genre, so I owe like so much to Green Day for that. And then Sum 41 was like what made me obsessed with it. So
yeah, nice. Yeah, I always say you put on the groups that Sum 41 are probably your favourite pop punk band, I think.
It feels like that's all I talk about, and and like when I post up covers and things like that, like I always think in the back of my head, like I should probably do another artist, but I could also just do a Sum 41 cover and it'll probably go well. So
no, it's good. It's good. I like the sound. So for me, Sum 41 are definitely within the top 3 punk bands of all time.
Yeah, definitely. and I don't think a lot of bands necessarily capture like what the music the way that they do. Like Sum 41, they've got their pop punk tracks, they've got their choruses and stuff, but they're really aggressive, not in the sense of screaming and breakdowns and stuff like that, but they have like a classic metal vibe to them or influence to them, and I don't think you hear that a lot.
No, definitely agree with that. I mean, before this we were talking about kind of very different genre. We were talking about the what was it, Millennium featuring Tom DeLonge, Paper Thin.
Yeah.
I mean, that track is flipping epic. For me, EDM and pop punk put together is just perfect. So I got my Spotify Wrapped recently, and I can go through some of those if you want, but when I was looking through, so honestly, my own music, it sounds narcissistic, but my own music was in the top few tracks or something like that, and it's just because I'm obsessively listening to my own stuff and either self-deprecating or jamming out depending on how I'm feeling. But with that song, it came out of nowhere. First off, I think I saw an announcement about it the day before, and I'm obsessed with anything that Tom does. And Millennium, they did that crossover with John Bellion, who's he's actually a huge influence on me. I don't really think I sound like him at all, but I love his stuff too. So when they did Good Things Fall Apart, I was familiar. And then with this new track, it's so sick. Like I remember the night it came out, I probably played it like 55 times in a row. I was just obsessed. Yeah. No, I'm a bit obsessed with it as well, I must say. I really am. Literally constantly listening to it. I listened to it just before the podcast because you said about it. I was like, I need to listen to this again. Like
I think it's pretty telling. Like if you look at my Spotify Wrapped, how obsessed I got with that song, because it just came out like a month ago, I think.
Is it really? Is that it?
Yeah. It didn't come out very long ago, and it was like my number 5 or 6 track on Spotify Wrapped. So
wow,
so I was pretty obsessed.
Yeah. Well, what was your first track? Was it one of yours or?
It was. I think it was Good Gone Away, and like I said, I feel narcissistic in a way for feeling that way, but I've also received some validation. Billie Eilish, she said she listens to all of her music. A Day to Remember, they said they listened to all their music. So I was like, okay, so I'm not crazy.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I listen to my podcast. If my podcast was on Spotify, then that would be my top podcast. I'd listen to it all the time, but because it's not, because Anchor were annoying, the platform that I hosted it on, and they deleted them. But
oh wow.
So yeah, I know. So it's just a video podcast I'm doing now, which I don't mind. I quite like.
Yeah, I like the format.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm sticking with that. But yeah, my top one is a track called Tina, or T.I.N.A by Enter Shikari.
Okay. Yeah, I was I played that song or that album in general a lot when it first came out. It's been a long time, so I would need to revisit it to be able to tell you like exactly what my specific favorite songs were. But I liked just the general, conceptual nature of the whole thing.
Definitely.
And I listened to a podcast interview with Rue that was really really good. Like they're just such intelligent people, and they're constantly.
Rue is an utter genius.
Yeah.
I think it's Rao Reynolds, is it?
I knew I was going to mess that up.
I think it's Rao Reynolds. I don't know. He's some people call him Rue, some people call him Rao. So I don't know.
Maybe he doesn't even know.
Maybe.
So
parents are like, yeah, just call yourself what you want. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's an utter genius. That guy. I mean, he helps produce a lot of their tracks, and all of them. He does produce all of them actually. Yeah. My top 10. 7 of the tracks are Enter Shikari from that album.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I was obsessed.
Their 2012 album I'm obsessed with. I can't remember what it's called. But I'll pull it up really quick. But their 2012 album is the one that I play the most, and the Minesweep, I have a playlist for it just because I listen to it so much. And that one, for whatever reason, like, I don't know if you're like this, but there's like certain albums that I really, really connect with, and I always come back to, even if artists are putting out new stuff. Like, and that one, and then Transatlanticism by Enter Shikari. Transatlanticism by Def Cab for Cutie, I come back to a lot too. Those two albums, I don't know why, but I'm always jamming them.
Yeah, no, I'm like that with what's their first album? There with me.
They need more memorable titles. That's our only criticism.
We do. So their first album, Take to the Skies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been listening to them since they came out. They've always been one of my faves, but this year I've listened to them a ridiculous amount of time. As you say, the top 7 tracks. Well, not top 7, but within the top 10, 7 tracks are Enter Shikari, and then within the top 20, there's probably like another 6. So
they're super phenomenal. And I kind of missed that wave, when they were doing like Warped Tour and when they were all over the place. I missed them in high school and all that stuff too. But I started going to college, and I think my friend put me on to the Minesweep, and after that, I was just hooked. So
yeah, they are epic. There's one band I've got into again lately. They haven't brought anything out for years. There's a band called Hadouken.
I actually, wow, I did not expect to be talking about them. Yeah, I love the first song I heard by them was Liquid Lives.
Yes.
Liquid Lives, and of course, like Levitate,
Yes.
that was like their hit. Yeah.
Dude.
Liquid Lives is kind of risque now, like it's not a song that they would probably write in 2020. But I always remember finding that song really funny when I was younger, and I loved the music video. They had like the neon bass strings and stuff like that. They were cool.
Yeah. I'd love to get to them to get some more music out. That'd be amazing, because they used to be one of my faves, but say they still are really, but it's been too long.
It's been so long. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it has indeed. All right, so I'll tell you what, we're going to jump into one of your first songs. Your choice. What do you want to play first?
Would you want to start with the new one? It just came out.
Should we start with the new one? Coming in. So this came out on
Friday.
Friday, yes.
Yeah.
So yes, we've been waiting for this for a long time.
Yeah, we have. And we have.
Here it is. It's Two Eyes Open and Haunt. Enjoy.
enough is enough. As if you ever even put up a fight. Throwing words, you're acting so tough. Got blurry vision, so know why. You can do what you want. You can go your own way. You can sleep all you want. But just know you're without me. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right. You've gotten under my skin, asking me to beg and repent. You're part of no religion, it's hiding those you love like they said. And I don't need saving now. I don't need saving now. I'm not your Lord Savior. You can do what you want. You can go your own way. You can sleep all you want. But just know you're without me. You can do what you want. You can go your own way. You can sleep all you want. But just know you're without me. It's not It's not right. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right.
Well, dude, I absolutely love that. I would not be surprised if that track is my top for Spotify Wrapped next year.
I really appreciate that, man.
I will listen
really
to that
do.
constantly. So, I mean, what was the vibe between behind that track, like the lyrics and sound of it? What were you thinking when you were writing it?
Yeah, I really just honestly wanted to write something angry. So some of the songs that I put out this year, I wrote a few years ago, but Haunt is actually a new track, literally a new track. I wrote it, maybe 2 months before it actually came out. So I wanted to write something angry. I had a lot of anger built up, and this song just kind of came out. Like all the terrible things that have happened this year with like the pandemic and especially in the US, like issues with race and stuff like that. And then I'd honestly gotten into an argument with some of my friends at that time, so I had a lot of things going on. And there were some topics that I had never really written about or talked about or was comfortable about and talking about. And I didn't dive too deep into those topics yet. This is kind of like me dipping the toes into the water, but this song for me was just really a reflection on like anyone that's been toxic in my life or that I've found to be toxic or maybe not the person that I expected them to be, and recognizing that and realizing like, I don't have to associate with this person anymore. Like I can step away and it's okay. And it's
Okay.
I'm making, sort of like a stand for myself. So that's, for me,
Yeah.
that's kind of what the song's about.
Okay.
And there's some like sort of religious references. No one's like really talked about it with me, so I don't know if anybody really took it that way. But like on the second verse where I'm saying like I don't need saving now. I'm not your lost and found. It's supposed to be a reference to the song Amazing Grace, actually.
Okay.
Just because it's not like a diss on Amazing Grace or Christianity or anything like that, but just that a lot of those people in my personal experience that were toxic for me, they would use religion as sort of like a weapon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is kind of against the whole foundation of Christianity anyway.
Oh,
But
it is. Yeah, 100%. I mean, if we have a quick chat about that, I mean, the top three things for hate in the world are religion, race, and I suppose probably
sexuality,
sexuality now.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, come on, for fuck's sake, just get on with each other.
Yeah.
I'd love it,
Yeah.
but it's never gonna happen, is it?
I try to stay optimistic, and I think we've made strides, but there's always more work to do.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that was what that song was about, and it kind of came about like in a flash. Like I literally was sitting down, and I as stupid as it sounds, I thought like I want to write something freaking angry this year. I want to put out like one more thing, because
Yeah.
everything I've put out kind of has like a soft intro, and then it builds up, and I was like, I just want something to like punch someone in the face as soon as it comes, start.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. So I had that riff, and I don't know, it wrote itself. It wrote itself really quickly. So yeah.
So what comes first usually, the lyrics or the music, or is it kind of different?
Almost 100% of the time it's the lyrics, or like, and it's always at the like dumbest points in the day, like I'm taking a shower, or I'm like
Yeah.
washing the dishes. If my friend in Pull the Curtain sees this, he's going to laugh at me, because I told him, I was like, dude, just wash some dishes more if you're wanting to write songs. Like that's where I write all of my songs.
Yeah, what's your
So
mate's name? I think I know him as well.
Richard, yeah,
Yeah,
shout out
yeah,
to
yeah.
Richard.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. Good guy.
yeah. So yeah, wash some dishes, or like when I was in high school, I used to like mow yards and stuff all the time. So every time I was like mowing, I would like come up with something. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, like I come up with either like a lyrical concept or like a chorus usually. And then I'll write the chorus, and then I'll go back and do the first verse. And then I have no idea where to go next. And so then like maybe a month will pass, and then I'll figure it out. But
Yeah, yeah.
but with this song, actually, it was the guitar. I came up with that little dun-dun-dun-dun-dun in the very beginning,
Yeah, yeah.
and then it was on an acoustic, but I was like hitting the shit out of it, and it just started to work. So yeah,
Yeah, I
this
quite
one
like
was
that
different.
sound, how it's acoustic at the beginning and then
Yeah.
just goes epic. Like,
Yeah.
whoa. Just
Yeah, like
Literally.
maybe you're not supposed to like jar your listeners, upon first listen, but I just wanted it to like punch you in the face. So hopefully people dig that.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, I know I definitely do, and I'm sure other people do. Well, you had some good results for your Wrapped for two Eyes Open.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you really did. You looked like you had some good ones on there, so
Yeah. Let's see. Some of the stuff that I had Static X too. I know we talk about Static X
yeah.
every now and then. But
Yes, they're
yeah.
good.
And
Yeah.
for my artists, like I was really surprised. Good Gone Away did I mean honestly, like everything has gone so much better than I could have expected. Like I almost didn't even do music this year. Like I kept going back and forth, like all the way up to the release day of Disregard. I was like, are you
Yeah.
sure like this is good? Like I was asking all my friends, like, does this suck? You
Yeah,
know?
but I remember you asking me, and I mean, I've been there with you since the start, literally, and
Yeah, you have.
yeah, I have, and I was like, dude, you need to do this. Honestly, it's great. So yeah, you've
Yeah.
got a very unique voice. I mean, yes, okay, the sound is similar to some others, like as Sum 41 as an example.
Yeah,
You've definitely
I
got influence from them, but you've definitely got a unique voice. I can't think of anyone else that sounds like you, which is a good thing.
Well, I
So
appreciate
it's
that.
originality. You're
appreciate
welcome.
that. Thank
You're very
you.
welcome. No, you're
That
very
means a
welcome.
lot.
Bro. No worries. But yeah, so who? I'll tell you what. Actually, what's your favourite gig you've ever been to? Oh, this would be a good one.
Yeah, so as Two Eyes Open, I've never played a gig. This all and before that we were, I guess, burning bridges, but we were literally just like a garage band.
Yeah.
But I did play a lot of gigs. I played in a cover band in college, and we would do. I always told people we do everything from Britney Spears to Rage Against the Machine. So we were all over the
Nice.
place. Yeah, and literally we would do Toxic, I think. Yeah, we would do Toxic, and then towards the end of the night we would do like Killing in the Name or something like that. So it
Wow.
was it was all over the place. We always did Halloween gigs every year, which was really fun. I think one year I was dressed up as Link from Legend of Zelda, and then the next year I was Batman.
Nice.
Batman was tough. Like I didn't realize like how little I could hear with that mask and everything. And I remember it sucked in the moment, but looking back it's kind of funny. Like I was dressed up as Batman and we had to do the Ghostbusters theme. The weird, because it's Halloween, so I was playing the I had just moved over to keyboard and I didn't know anything about keyboard and I've not really played it since. But I
Right.
had I moved over for that, and I was doing the dana, 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 or whatever, and I totally messed it up. Like my mask was on, I couldn't see anything, and at one point my strap on my, because I had my guitar on too, had like pulled my mask down, and so I couldn't see anything, I couldn't hear anything. I hit the complete like wrong notes. But we had a we had a lot of fun times, and a lot of people enjoyed us and seemed to have a good time. So,
Good,
um,
good.
a lot
Well,
of
yeah.
fun.
Here's the 2021 for your music coming
Yeah,
to a gig near you. Yeah.
yeah, I'm hoping so. Provided everything calms down, we'll see. We'll
Yes.
see.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Definitely. Well, how about for personal then? What's your favorite gig you've been to as a personal gig then?
Um, yeah, so that would be a while ago. In in high school, I played in a band called Fringe Society. It was very edgy. And we did. It was a cover thing too. Like I've honestly never played my own originals in a gig before. So that was part of the reason why I had so much pressure on myself. Like, should I do this? Like, would anybody care? Um, but back then we did Brain Stew by Green Day, and we
Nice.
did Pork and Beans by Weezer. And for some
Yeah.
reason, Pork and Beans like really took off. Like everybody in our high school loved Pork and Beans. I don't know. Like, and at the time, like it was really fun. And even even my mom is like, whenever she hears Pork and Beans, she's like, "This is your song." And I was
Love
like,
it.
from 2007, but yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, I mean, that sort of started the foundation for me, as silly
Yeah.
as it was. And I remember we played one, I did one more like talent show kind of thing, and we did a cover of Say It Ain't So. And right before the show, one of my like good friends who I still look up to this day, he's really talented. He was like, just so you know, like Say It Ain't So is one of my favorite songs of all time. And I think he was telling me just to say like, "Hey, I'm excited to hear you play this," but I took
Yeah.
it as, "Holy shit, I need to nail this."
Yeah.
And I was doing the solo and stuff, so yeah, I don't know. Fun memories.
Nice. Nice. Sorry, I think I must have said it wrong. What's your favorite gig you've been to, as in another band as
Oh, my
well?
bad. My
Yeah.
bad.
No,
Yeah, I
at
totally
first that
just
was the
went
question,
off.
but
I totally just went off.
it's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. My favorite gig. So the very okay. So this is a long story too, and you had kind of asked about it on Facebook, so I can do a story time on this now.
Go for
The
it.
very the very first time I saw Sum 41 was in 2012, I think, in college, maybe 2011, but um. I went with some friends, and we went to the city, which is actually where I live now in Charlotte. And we went to get food before the show, and all my friends were talking. We were just hanging out and laughing and stuff. And I told everybody, I was like, "Shut up, shut up!" And they were like, "What?" And I pointed out at the window, and Cone and Tom and Steve from the band were like walking into the restaurant. And
Nice.
so I was like, "Guys, shut, like, holy shit." Like I was losing my mind. And they were like, "Dude." So they sat down a few tables away from us, and they were like, dude, you've got to go talk to them. You've got to go talk to them. Like, you're the only one wearing a Sum 41 shirt. You're their biggest fan. Like, you've got to talk to them. Like, when does this opportunity ever happen?
Very true.
And so I was nervous as hell, and I had my mom's like digital camera at the time, because this was before smartphones were really like that great. And I walked over there, and I was so nervous, and I was like, guys, like, I love you guys, like, you're my favorite band ever, blah blah blah. Would you mind if we like took a picture or something like that? And they paused for a second, and I was thinking like maybe they would reject me, but then they said like, no, let's do it. And so they took a photo. We had one of the waitresses take the photo. So I run back, and I'm super excited, and we go see our photo, and I brought all my friends over for the photo and stuff, of course. And she pressed the wrong button, so she didn't actually take the photo. She just turned the camera off. And so they're like, dude, you've got to go talk to them again. And I was like, I can't. They're like, they just ordered food. Like, I can't. So they're like, dude, do it. So I walk over there, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. And then they pause again. And then Steve-O's like, you know what? This one will be even better. And so he got, like, they had their photographer with them.
No.
So, which is probably what we should have done in the first place. And he took the photo. So long story short, I got the photo. And we were like over the moon. We hung out in the city for a little while, and then not with Sum 41, but just, we went and did our own thing. And then when the show came around, we got there early. I got right up front, and during I think the Hell song, they do this thing sometimes where they kind of break down the song, and they'll keep playing it, but Derek will do like his kind of like banter that he always does.
Yeah.
And he was asking to pull people on stage, and I ended up getting pulled on stage. So he pulled like 10 people on stage, and since I had seen some of the other guys earlier that night, they recognized me and my friends. And so like when this was before Dave was back in the band, so when Tom would do the guitar solos, he would like throw his picks to them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was absolutely crazy. So
nice. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I met any. I met Joel from Good Charlotte.
Nice.
Shook his hand and got a signature.
Nice.
But I can't find it anywhere. I'm gutted. I don't know where the signature's gone. So if I had it,
there, though.
it would be up on the wall.
Yeah.
It's there somewhere. Yeah. I know it is. But yeah, I don't know. For me, I think my favourite gig had to be... So I went to Bullet in a Bible tour. Green Day. So that was Green Day, Jimmy Eat World, Taking Back Sunday, and a band called Hardfi.
Oh my
in the UK.
That's a lineup.
It freaking is. I mean, probably 3 of my top favourite bands of all time.
Yeah.
There, and for me, there is no band on this planet better live than Taking Back Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They are epic. They sound better live than they do on tracks, honestly.
The vocals are insane, and there are only like 2 bands I can think of that do that kind of stuff so well, and it's Taking Back Sunday and Emery. I saw Emery not too long ago, and they were amazing. So if you have a chance, I would make sure you catch them.
Yeah,
but
I'll tell you another band. Sorry, go on. No, go on.
I was just gonna say, I can't imagine like how cool the Green Day show was. I've never gotten to see them, so
it was epic. It really was. I mean, that was 2005 or 6, I think. So quite a while ago now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was epic. But I saw when I was 17 as well. I saw don't know what tour it was, but it was Bowling for Soup, Zebrahead, Bloodhound Gang. Yeah, that was it. But and Army of Freshmen as well.
Okay.
Nice. And Zebrahead, or Zebrahead as you'd call it. They were amazing. I can't remember his name now, but the rapper guy.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Really was. Absolutely loved it.
They are another, if you want to talk about albums that I come back to a lot, MFZB is like one of my favorite records. Like, I think it's one of the best pop punk records like of all time, but it's just super underrated. I love everything Zebrahead does.
Yeah. Broadcast to the World. I think that's the album, isn't it?
Yeah, that one's really good.
Yeah. I like that's probably my favorite one, I think, by them. I was trying to think. There's a band that I was thinking of the other day who was so underrated. but my mind's gone blank now. But you might not like this one, but I think the band that's overrated is My Chemical Romance.
Actually, I wouldn't disagree with you.
I like them, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But they're just not as good as others.
Yeah,
at
like
all.
I think that they're incredibly talented. But there are certain bands that a lot of people really connected with that I personally never really did.
Yeah.
And it's probably like sacrilegious to say, but like I never really connected with like it's a lot of big hits right here, but I didn't connect with My Chemical Romance that much, or even like Fall Out Boy. Like a lot of those bands that were just so, they were like seminal bands for so many people that I know. But I respect them, and there are certain songs that I'm like, man, this song is awesome, but they just didn't like grip me the same way that.
No, definitely. There we go.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to jump into another track because we're going to talk all the time otherwise.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
sorry, I'm talking your head off.
It's fine. It's good. It's a podcast. You're supposed to talk on it. It's all right. So here's a Good Gone Away. We'll do.
Okay.
So Good Gone Away by Two Eyes Open. Enjoy.
I don't mind I don't mind the strain. There's no reason you should love if it's not worth the risk of pain. At least that's what I tell myself inside my bleeding brain. No, I don't mind but you couldn't find a reason to stay, and I couldn't find the words to say. Tell me, has the good gone away? Has the good gone away? Has the good gone away? I don't mind the feeling, the shallow breathing, the cluttered mess of no, I don't mind the sinking feeling, the shallow breathing, the cluttered mess of I don't mind no, I don't mind the hurt. Like I needed to be alone, perhaps for a different reason than your own. I felt like I needed to be alone. Now I'm stuck here waiting for the ring of my phone. Has the good gone away? Has the good gone away? Has the good gone away? Away, away. Has the good gone away? Has the good gone away? Has the good gone away? Away, away. Has the good gone away? Has the good gone away? Has the good gone away? Away, away. Has the good gone away? Has the good gone away? Has the good gone away? Away, 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 away. I don't mind no, I don't mind
So dude, again, another absolutely awesome track. And during that, I asked, was it the video with your girlfriend? And
Yeah.
it is. Yes, I remember that one. It's a good video. So you produced that yourself, didn't you? The video. And
Yeah, it's sort of low budget, but I'm able to market it as like, aesthetic, with putting in like the VHS filters and stuff on it. But yeah, my girlfriend and I, we shot that I'd gone down to Philly for about a month because we're doing like a long distance thing. And I was with her for about a month, and we shot this, like basically we were both working, so every afternoon afterwards we would shoot like bits and pieces of this.
Okay.
And I had honestly like no idea of we had no idea really of the concept. I had found this filter to like make everything, all the greenery purple and stuff like that, and I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
oh, this is kind of cool. And then we started piecing it together and started making a story out of it. And a lot of that, you know, I owe to her. Like she had a lot of ideas for the shots and stuff, and she's got a better like eye for aesthetics and like
Yeah.
framing things than I do. So
Okay.
it was a lot of fun. So
Yeah, no, it's a good video for a low budget, and just for
yeah.
you doing it, it's definitely a good video. So what
I
did you use to
appreciate that.
produce it? What program
Um,
did you use?
we honestly just used iMovie and we
Yeah,
shot everything with our phones. So it
yeah,
was,
yeah.
and the filter was free too. So it was literally like the filter is actually an Instagram filter. So it's,
Nice.
yeah, it was as low budget as it could possibly be. And yeah, it was my girlfriend and I shot it, and then we had her roommate shoot like a few of the extra shots, because you know there's some shots where we're both together,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
her roommate shot with that. So shout out to Yesenia and Cece for that. I really
yeah.
appreciate
No, it's I say I love the video. It's great. So I mean, again, what's the theme behind that track?
Yeah, so that song had a lot behind it. And this was one of those songs, like I was telling you, where I had some lyrics. I had kind of had like a chorus and a verse, and then I didn't know what to do with it for months. So um, the first half of the song was written about this girl that I was, well, my girlfriend now. I was, you know, I was interested in her, but doing long distance, there were so many doubts and things, and so I was worried that I might lose her. And so I'd kind of written it about that in mind, just wondering, like, you know, she's this good thing. Am I going to lose her and never
Okay.
have that experience? So that was what that first half is about. And then 6 months later, I had a friend that I worked with who had suddenly gotten sick, and he ended up passing away. And it
Sorry
was
about that,
this,
dude.
it's okay. It was this long process where he would get better and then get worse and then get better and get worse, and he actually got he was in a coma for a while, and then he
Oh,
actually
jeez.
woke up and then passed away. So it was like this crazy thing. And that night when I heard about it, either that night or that morning when I heard about it, I just I was like, I should write something, like, and just get this out. And I'd never like really written anything except for Haunt. I had never really written anything at that time, like in the moment, you know.
Okay.
And so you know, I just felt like yelling. So that's where that like
Yeah.
alone, those really high notes come in, and I still don't even really know what those lyrics are about necessarily, like if they're about anyone in particular, but the emotion comes from that. Um, so and actually, when he passed away, I wrote like probably 4 to 6 songs like in that time period, because it just hit me so hard, you know.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
so that, yeah, that song has a lot behind it, and I think that's kind of what makes it special. And you know,
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, do you think you'll use some of those other lyrics for other songs, or have you?
yeah, yeah. So I have actually, well, I wrote a song directly about him, and you know, just what he meant to me or whatever. And I have another chorus that I finished, and that song is basically ready too. So yeah, I've got a lot of things in the in the pipeline, and you know, thanks to his memory in a way, a lot of those things will come to light one day. So I think that's a
Cool.
cool way
Yeah,
to play tribute
definitely.
to
I'm
him.
sure he'd love it. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, I mean, let's jump straight on to future releases and future plans then. So, what are we feeling? Got anything this year or next year or whatever?
I might have you know, a release or two. We'll see. We'll see. Um, no, I've been working on some things. I'm hoping later this year. I don't have a release date. I've learned that it's really bad to give people release dates when
Yes.
you're not ready. because I promised everyone that I would have an EP by like June of this year, and that definitely did not happen. It's just, life happens, and you can't predict the pandemic. You can't predict, you know. So I'm not going to give a release date, but I am planning on my EP finally coming out sometime this year. And I've got some singles, maybe some collaborations. We'll see. So
I look forward to it. Should be good. I'm sure it'll be absolutely awesome because your tracks before are absolutely brilliant. I'll tell you what, we'll jump into another one. What do you want to play now?
So let's do Inconvenience. I think
Inconvenience.
That's a fun one.
Cool.
Yeah.
Here we go. So Inconvenience by Two Eyes Open. Enjoy.
Talk when it's convenient. Do we wanna steal a thing from each other now? Whether it's your heart or my time, or the feeling I get when you've done all the boring out. 'Cause I've been dwelling inside confusion. It's only signed up on with my own name. My sick, but I wasn't aware of anything's a boomerang with nothing to come back to. You said that you loved me, but you didn't have to.
You can't go wrong with your tracks. So they are absolutely brilliant. You're very welcome.
Thank you.
So yeah, during that I was trying to think of bands that kind of sounds like. At the start, I think when it first came in, I was thinking Green Day, and then when it started to come in, you got a bit of Emery in there, and then there was a few other bands who I can't think, but there was definitely a hell of a lot of influences in that track.
Yeah, that song is kind of all over the place. I think the beats per minute changes like 4 times in that song. So, Emery was a big influence for sure. And a band called Pentimento was a really big influence for me too. They have an amazing set on Audio Tree. If you watch that, you'll become a fan like immediately. Unfortunately, they're not. I don't think they're putting out any music now, or anymore. But if you watch that Audio Tree set, you'll be blown away. They're just phenomenal, and they have so much emotion. So there was a time where I was obsessed with them and modern baseball. So
Yeah.
I would write a song. Like this song was written in 2015, actually. So this was kind of like my Pentimento song, and then I've got another song that's kind of like my modern baseball song, you know.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, I owe a lot to them, and sonically, I would say. But yeah, as far as like what this song is about, it was just it's a relationship song, but it's a little different. It's kind of about like you date someone for years and years and years, and then you guys break up or it doesn't end well or whatever. Excuse me, sorry. And then you try to like reconnect because
Yeah.
you're kind of all like this person so well and they know you so well. And so that's what that song's kind of about. It's like that awkward period afterwards where you're not sure like what you are anymore. And that's why I'm saying things like do we only talk when it's convenient? Do we have anything to like steal from each other now? Because everybody's trying to like uh, uh, kind of get that comfort that they don't have now after a breakup,
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, I mean, I'm a lyric writer myself, and to be honest, this year, I don't think I've come up with anything. It's been the most uninfluential year ever.
It's hard to be influenced during all of this, everything that's going on.
Yeah, but I've written quite a bit of poetry, actually.
Yeah.
But I'd love to get into lyrics writing again. I mean, I'm working on something with someone for the new year.
Oh yeah.
Music-wise, so yeah.
That's really cool.
More news to come soon.
Are you,
No.
Are you gonna leak any details?
No, I'm not, because we've only just got the first song idea come through. So
I like your poetry though. I think you post occasionally, and I do dig it. So I would encourage you to just keep doing it because
thank you very much.
Yeah, I do dig it. I really do.
Good. Yeah, I mean, I think most of my stuff is either from bullying or I suppose kind of how do I explain it, to kind of get people to see what I see. So I did one, I can't remember what it's called now, but it's about like autumn, fall. I'm not sure if you've seen it. Yeah,
that was the one I saw. Yeah. That was the one,
Yeah. So that kind of picturesque kind of scene. But I was bullied when I was younger as well, so that the bullying stuff comes out from that.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I'd say thanks to the bullies for making me who I am today. So
honestly, that's something I think about with like writing lyrics too. It's like a lot of it comes from bad things. My girlfriend's trying to encourage me to write some more happy stuff, so I do have some happy songs like in my sleeves actually. It's a hard balance. It's hard to not make those corny, but yeah, I mean, those things make you who you are, and I'm really sorry to hear that you've been bullied, but you have a passion for it now, where you might be able to help someone in the future get through that.
Exactly. So, yeah. I mean, I have mates now in, especially there's a group called Metalcore UK or Metalcore and Deathcore UK, and there's a few people in there who struggle massively with not being bullied as such, but with stress and stuff. And I'm kind of I'm a mentor in the group. Yeah, kind of they come to and chat, so I'm just listen to them, and honestly, anyone that needs to chat anytime, I'm here. So yeah.
And I've always gotten that vibe from you. Like, I feel like, I mean, it's fun to talk with you about music, but if I'm like going through something, I feel like I can message you about it, and get
definitely, advice, cool. So, well, thank you. 100%. So definitely agree with you. I'll tell you what, put the mood up a bit. We'll jump straight to another song. So I'll tell you what, I'm gonna do Face the Light.
Okay, cool.
So we'll do that one. So here we go.
If it's temporary, then that means that there is time for a change. We push on while lamenting, marching back and forth to an awful clip on replay. And despite the dissenting remarks she spit to spread further hate, a riot rips forth while the hearts of all the people are just filled up with rage. When you feel just like you do, and you see what they don't want you to, it's hard to reconcile, but you just can't look away. We walked outside, we faced the lie, we made ourselves know we won't give you the throne and we won't give up our lives. We walked outside, we faced the lie, we made ourselves know we won't give you the throne and we won't give up our lives. How much is enough when the boys in blue are caught on display? What world do we live in when the pigment of the people is what seals up their fate? When you kneel cause you've got something to prove, and you see that they don't want you to, it's hard to reconcile when they turn and do the same. We walked outside, we faced the lie, we made ourselves known, we won't give you the throne and we won't give up our lives. We walked outside, we faced the lie, we made ourselves known, we won't give you the throne and we won't give up our lives. Give up our lives. We made ourselves known, we won't give you the throne and we won't give up our lives. Give up our lives. We made ourselves known, we won't give you the throne and we won't give up our lives.
Wow, I'm loving that one. So I was saying there, I haven't listened to that one as much as others,
Yeah.
but I dig that one. I think that might be my favourite track of yours, actually.
Oh, wow,
Listen
okay.
to it again now. Honestly,
Yeah.
love it. Your vocal range on that is insane.
I
So-
appreciate it.
Seriously, well done on that track. So I'm getting lots of different vibes. I mean, to be honest, weirdly, I've listened to quite a lot of Newfound Glory acoustic tracks.
Yeah, they're so good. They are so good.
They're amazing, and I was kind of getting that vibe from them. You said during that track as well, one of your main influences was Linkin Park for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, my second favourite band of all time. So that's probably why I like it so much. So,
Well, I really appreciate that, and yeah, the Newfound Glory comparison is like that means a lot because the stuff they've been doing on YouTube is just insane.
it is.
But yeah, I think sonically for me, what might come out finally to others isn't usually the same as what's in the artist's head. So like I hear Linkin Park like almost immediately, but I don't think anyone has really said that same thing. It's kind of like Good Gone Away. Like I know you like Good Gone Away, and I know you hate Nirvana, but
Yeah.
Nirvana was my biggest influence for Good Gone Away. So
Yeah.
I would say so. And that's what I hear. But yeah, that song was not something that I planned to write at all. I actually even kind of like double booked myself because I had put out Sickness Unto You at basically the same time. So I had done an acoustic cover of Trivium, Sickness Unto You. And it's kind of, it didn't really do that well, but I mean, Matt Heafy liked it, so that's enough for me to be happy.
Yes, definitely.
So I put those two out at the same time because at that exact same time there was everything going on following George Floyd's killing and everything. So I didn't know necessarily if it was my place to talk about it. It felt I was a little worried at first in a way, what people might think, but A lot of good has come out of that song, and I think it's pretty obvious when you listen to the lyrics what it's all about. But I had talked with a lot of my friends in preparation. I think I probably talked with maybe 150 people before I put that song out, because I
Wow.
wanted to make sure, like, is this okay? Like, is it my place? And I was nervous about it, but partially because of that song, I've had a lot of really great conversations with people that I don't think I would have ever had, or it might have not ever come up naturally,
Yeah.
um, as much as it did. And then on top of that, so I worked with Nick Tello for that, who is the producer that works at the studio that Haunt was produced by as well.
Okay.
And I'm doing a music production sort of internship with him as well. So shout outs to Nick and Andrew.
Sweet.
But Nick was actually doing a special at that time where he said, "Hey, if you work with me for production, the funds that you spend to do that will go straight towards a Black rights organization of your choice."
Okay.
And on top of that, I was already thinking with Face the Light, like, if I ever get royalties from it, or if people purchase the song or anything like that, then I'm going to send that to Black rights organizations as well. So
I'll
our
purchase it
goals
for
just
you
kind of
after
aligned
this.
for that, and I saw, the potential for good in that, and we raised this was insane to me. We raised almost $1,000 for the NAACP.
Nice. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll purchase the song after, and
I
we can get
really
something to that.
appreciate that.
No,
Thank
you're
you.
very welcome. You're very welcome.
Yes, so that was a cool song. It was heavy. It wasn't something I expected to write about, but like I said, like, um, and then my favorite personal experience that came with that was my neighbor next door heard me singing it, because it is high,
Yeah.
so I'm just like belting as loud as I can. And he is like a blues jazzy kind of guy. Like, he grew up like during the times when that stuff was like the king, like it was everywhere,
Yeah, yeah.
And so I went over there with him, and he asked me to play the song with him, and he rips on a harmonica. So
Nice.
we had played together, and he would like do these little solos over my chord progressions and stuff. And then we had like a really in-depth conversation related to everything the song was about. So
Yeah.
it's been that was a really special song for me for a lot of reasons, and I hope that it has helped, and it seems like it's made an impact, however small. So anything
Definitely,
helps, I think.
definitely. Well, yeah, I absolutely love it. It's an awesome track. As I say, I think it's my favourite, so I'm going to listen to it more, and I'll get those views up for you and streams on Spotify.
Thank you.
But you said as well about potentially bringing out a full band version of that.
Yeah, it's so I mess with it every now and then. I don't, it's something that I don't want to force necessarily, but I hear it in my head. And like I said, Linkin Park was my biggest influence, so I don't think I'm gonna rap Mike Shinoda style or anything like that. But I think I picture it with some heavy guitars and maybe like a scream there or two,
Yeah,
but like that sort of ferocity that Chester's able to, that Chester was able to do. I would like to try to do that as much as I can.
Definitely.
I think Face the Light would rock a full band
Yeah.
version.
Definitely, yeah. Well, going back to Mike Shinoda, I don't think anyone on the planet can rap like Mike Shinoda.
Yeah,
he has that awesome voice. Just love it.
he really does. I was obsessed with Post Traumatic. That was well, I had a blog for a little while where I wrote about music, and Mike Shinoda. So John Bellion was my first article, and then I think Mike Shinoda came like shortly after that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I love everything he does. He's stupidly talented. He did he's an artist. Like, he produces. He wrote almost everything Linkin Park did for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, he's the main. I mean, yeah, it's insane. It's absolutely.
Yeah, he is a genius. He really is. Yeah. But yeah, no, really good. But yeah, I look forward to that coming out, and I'm sure it'll be absolutely amazing.
I appreciate it.
Definitely be a good one.
We'll see.
We shall see. Okay, tell you what, let's do a random question. What's your favourite food?
Oh man. Yeah, so I don't eat this all the time because it's heavy on the calories, of course, but I make a really mean, or at least I think, I make a really mean fettuccine Alfredo, and
Nice.
yeah, and my girlfriend is a big fan of it too, so that works out too.
Good.
But I'll do like a fettuccine Alfredo, and then I cook shrimp and do I make it as Cajun and spicy as I can, and then throw the two things together, and it's kind of ridiculous. It's a lot of fun.
Nice. That sounds good.
Yeah, it's like one of those things that I can't actually even remember the last time I did it, but I'll get like a really intense craving for it all of a sudden, and the day of, it's like all I'm thinking about that whole day. I'm like, I'm gonna get through work so I can make this freaking fettuccine Alfredo.
Nice. Well, I think mine is I make it good. I don't think you call it this in US, but spaghetti bolognese.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, so I put. We have something called Marmite over here. I'm not sure if you have it.
I'm not sure.
It's, I don't know what you call it. It's yeast extract basically. But put a bit of Marmite in it and a bit of chocolate. Wow.
Oh man.
It's epic.
Yeah.
Like, I've had other people's and I'm like, nah, nothing's as good as mine.
Nice. Yeah, there's like a certain sense of pride when you do it yourself, because like in like with the fettuccine Alfredo, I'm making my own sauce, which isn't that complicated, but just knowing that you made it yourself, I think makes it a lot better.
Yeah, definitely. So, what do you think the most pop punk food is then?
I think pizza. It's like it's so ingrained in the like overall brand. Like
yeah.
I even refer to myself as pizza fueled pop punk, which is pretty accurate because I do eat a fair bit of pizza. So
yeah. Well, just like my logo, which I'm going to pop up here now. Obviously, it's everywhere, but we'll pop it here. So yeah, that's what I thought. I said pizza's probably the most pop punk thing you can get. So
yeah. I mean,
so
like it's like that Jared Alonji video. I don't know if you've ever seen it, where he's wearing like the flannel and he pulls like a piece of pizza out of his pocket.
I haven't seen it, no.
I'll send it your way.
Awesome. Sounds good. I'll tell you what, we'll do one last song, then we'll have another chat about a few things afterwards, and here we go. So last song, we'll do The Summer. How about that?
Okay, I'm down with that.
Sweet. Let's go for that one. So The Summer and Two Eyes Open. Enjoy.
It was way before the pressures of the real life. It was way back then we could learn just how to waste our time. It was way before my dad's moments were final, when you couldn't just wait for your only friend's arrival. It was way before she had stepped all over my heart, way before my family had fallen apart. I'm grateful for where I am now, but I'd be lying if I said that I'm never gonna miss. I'd go back there if I had to walk for miles. Show me how to get to you. I love you and hate you for everything you do. The summer of 2013. Yesterday ate too much food. We didn't mind the fact we're sleeping in past noon. The summer of 2013. If you're stoned and I'm sober, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me?
again. Absolutely epic again. Loving it. So during that, I mean, there was so many different influences. I mean, I suppose you're always going to have the same kind of influence because what you listen to, and most bands are, because it's pop punk.
Right.
But I don't know, for some reason within the start of that, I was really feeling Motion City Soundtrack. And then you said as well, Blink was a massive influence on that track.
Yeah.
Is there any specific Blink that referred you to that kind of sound?
Yeah, well, the ending definitely with having all the vocals at the end, kind of like feeling this, you know, I feel like every pop punk band tries to like recreate that in some way, or that sort of feeling. Definitely. And actually, that part kind of came about as an accident in a way. So like initially when I wrote that song, I kept playing the electric guitar over like all the way until the end, and I did have those vocals overlapping, but I didn't do that like stop start, like all those vocals doing their thing like that. And what happened was so I have a few producers I work with, but the guy that I worked with for like most of my tracks, which is Disregard, Good Gone Away, The Summer, Inconvenience, Adam Allred, he had that idea. He was like, why don't you have everything drop out and just show the vocals? And I was like, you know, let's see what happens. And so he made that edit and sent it back to me, and I really, really dug that. So and he's a super talented guy, phenomenally. He's amazing on the guitar and stuff. And he also had some other really cool ideas that kind of came to light in some of my songs, like on Inconvenience. There's like a bunch of vocal echoes and stuff at the end, and he had kind of like engineered that. So he helped me like, you know, make something cool that way. So
yeah, it's always good to have someone else's influence as well. So I'm going to turn this light on. I know it's going to shine.
Yeah.
But hopefully it won't be too bad. I'll try and block it with my fat head.
Oh my gosh. You're good, man. You're good.
Okay, we'll do that. So yeah, the fat middle-aged white guy that likes punk.
The slogan.
That's me, yeah. But there we go. Yeah, so as saying, it's definitely good to have that kind of influence from others. I suppose that's why it's good to be in a band as such. But I think I've got to that stage, not my music career, because I've not had a career in music, but kind of my age where I feel like I want to do stuff on my own and potentially just have a producer.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's still in a kind of band. I mean, the guy I'm working with, we're working on something. I'll tell you what, it's kind of like cloud punk.
Yeah,
like similar to Nate Flood.
Yeah, nice.
Who I've had on episode 3. Have a look up here. And yeah, so definitely that kind of influence. I suppose as well, we want to do kind of Millennium.
Yeah.
Tom DeLonge kind of stuff as well. I mean, I'd never say my vocals are that range. I don't know, they might be. They used to be.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, in one episode soon, I'll play my old song with a band. I'll have to check the old band members, but I'm pretty sure it'll be absolutely fine to put on there.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, that's me singing when I was 16, 17. So quite a while ago. So
I would love to hear it, man.
Yeah, over 16 years ago now. So
yeah.
I'm getting on.
Yeah, the cloud punk stuff though is really, really cool. That's something that I've gotten more into this year. Not necessarily like cloud punk, but the emo rap kind of thing. I think so Elenium and Tom DeLonge was you know, that was one of my top songs, but the song right underneath it was by Juice WRLD.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really getting into some of that stuff.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
I don't know how to make beats. Like I really respect people who can, because I'm terrible at it. But yeah, it's super cool.
That's why I've got a producer to do stuff as well. But I quite like 4K Golden as well. Mood, one of my favorite tracks of the year. I think that might be in my top 20 actually. Absolutely epic track. There's a band called American Teeth. Well, an artist called American Teeth as well.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Really good. Yeah. One called Safe Hold. Who is what band's he from? Wilmette.
Oh yeah.
One of the guys from Wilmette. So I'm going to get him on in the new year. Nice. Probably February, March time. So I'm excited for that. Should be good. So yeah, there's so many bands that I've found out this year. I mean, I think this year's been a massive music thing for me. Hence why I started the podcast, to help artists like yourself and find out more for me, really, because to say I love music, I always have done. And I was on the Loudspot podcast with one of my mates over in Oklahoma, and I just went, you know what, I loved this, bugger it, I'm going to do it myself. So
yeah,
I did it.
It's cool. It's really cool, and I'm glad you're bringing people together. And for me, like, it helps instill a sense of community, because I wouldn't even really consider myself part of like the Charlotte scene necessarily where I live, just because I just basically moved to the city recently, so it wasn't like I was coming into the city all the time, and then quarantine happened. So my music community has been the people that I've met like on these Facebook groups. So like you and like Brian Quirk and Nate Flood and a lot of the people that you've already interviewed. Definitely. So it's kind of cool to see like you're sort of like forming a little hub for all these people to show up on. So definitely,
100%. That was my idea. I mean, I'm glad I got them two on, because they're a couple of my favorite artists from this year, including yourself as well. And I love the kind of, I suppose you want to call it underground, really, because you all are. You're not massive artists, but you're freaking talented. I mean, you're just as talented as some of the big guys. So I don't see why we shouldn't shout about it. So,
I appreciate that, man. It's interesting because certain online groups are not as supportive, which is fine. Like a lot of groups, they want to talk about Blink-182, they want to talk about Neck Deep or Green Day, or the people that are already like killing it, which is fine, you know, and I get that. Like those bands deserve everything they're getting. But Brian Quirk actually was the person who got me connected to all these Facebook groups and informed me about it, because honestly, I would have maybe never even known if he hadn't told me, just because I wasn't on Facebook that much, you know. I was on Instagram or Reddit a little bit more, and now it's all switched, because Facebook's where I've made like some of my best friends. It's good. Over this year, it's been awesome.
Definitely, 100% agree with that. I mean, these groups for me are a massive influence as well. I mean, pop punk kids, it's more about fuck, marry, kill nowadays. But then again, that's died down a bit.
You've got to wade through a lot of comments to get to the good stuff, but I found a lot of really cool people through there. So
definitely good. Yep. So I think that's pretty much it, Dustin. So massive thanks for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Absolutely lovely music. Face the Light is going to be brought and streamed all night long.
I really appreciate that.
You're very welcome. But yeah, I cannot wait for new music from you. We'll chat after, I'm sure, and keep sending each other songs and that. So massive thanks. See you soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Punkio podcast. Remember, the views and opinions expressed in this show represents those of our guests and hosts alone. Tune in next week to find your new favourite punk band. Hit that subscribe button to never miss an episode.